don't think I've ever wanted to love a film so much, and yet couldn't, quite like Man of Steel. Right now, more than ever, is the perfect time to have a Superman movie that challenges the beliefs of the character and explore what makes him so resonant. Man of Steel is clearly determined to do these things, putting the symbols in the ideology of the character at the forefront of the narrative. But despite these efforts, I've always found the film to be emotionally flat. I used to contribute this to the film's extensive third act battle, which reached new levels of destruction in blockbuster filmmaking. But on further reflection, I found what really hinders the film is the 20-minute prologue covering the demise of Krypton. Now, I'm not saying that these 20 minutes are worthless. In fact, in the way the film is constructed, the screen time is used to establish the film's central themes.
We'll kill him.
How? He'll be a god to them.
What makes the prologue problematic is that the introduction of these themes diminishes the impact of Clark's journey. Man of Steel is a film about self-discovery, with Clark figuring out who he is and what he means to the rest of the world.
But you're not just anyone, Clark, and I have to believe that you were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, you owe it to yourself to find out what that reason is.
This line, coming in 30 minutes into the picture, is the mission statement for the entire film. It's the question that drives Clark and the narrative forward. The first problem with the prologue is that by the time this question is asked, the film has already answered it, telling us who he is and what he's meant for.
He'll be a god to them.
I think this is what leads to the film's major disconnect. We are presented with a character lost in this world, but we are never allowed to be lost with him. The film fails to put us into his shoes.
Where do I come from? Why did you send me here?
At the 45-minute mark, once Clark starts to discover his origins, the film presents us with a wonderful scene of exposition, where Clark learns the history of his people. Now, this is a great visual way to convey this information, and it's needed for the emotional development of the character. But it's covering ground that's already been covered, making it redundant in the film's narrative. Because of this, the moment is brushed over and it barely registers. One of Man of Steel's major shortcomings is how it rushes through Clark's discovery, delaying it with the prologue and then cutting it short with the alien invasion. For instance, take this scene, where Lois Lane tracks down the people who've been affected by Superman, all in an effort to find the man himself. Now, this is a great opportunity for the filmmakers. We can witness Lois Lane's journalistic skills, seeing how far she'll go to get a story. We can reintroduce people that have passed Clark's path, seeing how Superman has changed their lives. We can even see Lois start to connect with the son of Krypton, laying out the foundation for the most important romance in comics. Sadly, the film doesn't do this, as this crucial plot development is conveyed through the swiftest of montages, aided by the help of voiceover.
How do you find someone who has spent a lifetime covering his tracks?
Here, voiceover is used as a crutch, aiding us along without actually doing the work. What's frustrating is that the character Pete Ross even reappears in the chaotic Smallville battle. This could have easily added a new perspective to the conflict at hand, had we gotten to know him a little more. And honestly, I think this is what holds the third act back. The human perspective quietly fades away when clearly it's a perspective most crucial to the film. I just find it odd that in a film about humanity accepting Superman, no one is there to witness his most heroic moments. But what's more important than being heroic is the decision to be heroic, and this is where the voiceover really fails.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
In Man of Steel, Jor-El is the physical manifestation of the film's themes and statements on society. But Clark has always been the son of Jonathan Kent, shaped by the lessons and ideas imprinted on him as a child. Jor-El isn't a significant part of Clark's life. He's a relic of the past, meant to show Clark the next step in his journey. Here, Jor-El overstays his welcome, holding our characters' hands through the narrative and being their moral guidance. Most importantly, this is what the prologue is meant to establish, seeing the journey of Jor-El and the ideals that our characters will eventually fight for. But it robs the film of its perspective. The film is about the relationship between Superman and humanity, yet it introduces us to the alien before it ever lets us be human.
We wanted you to learn what it meant to be human first. So that one day, when the time was right, you could be the bridge between two peoples.
The thing about self-discovery is that the discovery has to come from the self, and the one thing Man of Steel truly lacks is the time to let Clark discover who he is on his own.